Okay, so in this recording, I'm going to give you an overview of RStudio exercise number 2, which is this exercise based on determining autocorrelation. And a lot of people struggle with this concept of autocorrelation, but before we run any kind of test of statistical significance, such as a t-test, you're going to want to make sure that you've met your statistical assumptions of independence of observations. So the textbook will go into this a little bit further, but a real simple level, if data is autocorrelated and one observation is dependent on another observation, the results of our t-test are going to be a little bit misleading because there might be a different variable other than the intervention that's really causing that statistical change. I'll get to that later in the course, but for what's important for this, I'm just going to go through step by step how to do the RStudio exercise to determine if there is a problem with autocorrelation and what to do if you come across that. So it's the same first step as the last example is starting up RStudio and making sure that you have the Jenny .csv file saved to your desktop or wherever you're going to be manipulating it. So the first step here, again, open up RStudio. And after you open it, you're going to want to ensure that you have the following statement copied and pasted into the command box. So again, I'm just going to copy and paste require SSD for R to get us started. And you'll see the red text here just letting you know that you've got SSD for R up and running. And then the next step is to find the file that we want to manipulate. So you can do get CSV, or you can copy and paste it from the Word document. And then we can find the Jenny file. You can double click and also just be certain to attach it. So after we found the file, we want to ensure that we've attached the file to RStudio. So attach in SSD. All right, so now we're good to go. So the first step in testing for autocorrelation, you can type in the following, AB RF2. So RF2 is a measure of autocorrelation. For Jenny's file, the yell is the dependent variable here. Our operationally defined problem is how many times she yells per day, per period. So P yell is the phase of yell, and then A is the baseline phase. So all you need to do for this exercise is just copy and paste this into the RStudio file here. Okay, so over on the right, you can clearly see the chart that pops up, or the graph that pops up of her yelling days by the frequency of the behavior. So when you're looking at the output in the console here, there's the 3 lines that come up underneath our code. And RF2 is the measure of autocorrelation that we're going to be interested in. Here we can see an output that says that the significance of the RF2 is 0.432. So in most cases, if we looked at this, we would say that there's not really a problem with autocorrelation. But generally, when we've got smaller number of observations, the thing that I typically would recommend that you look at, and what the textbook recommends you look at, is RF2 above 0.20. So the next question is, if RF2 is greater than 0.20, which in this case it is, then we would move on to step 5, which would be smoothing out our data. So the easy way to do this is just to copy in and paste a moving average. So ABMA stands for moving average of the yelling in phase A. So if we were to smooth out that data, you can see the moving average plot to the right. And if you want to save these results of the moving average, you can click yes, or Y for yes. And then you can save your data as a moving average file. So then it'll transform your data, and you can see the new values of the transformed data here. So I can look up in this file and I can see the moving average Jenny. It's a CSV file. I can open it up with note here to see what it looks like. So here you can see the moving average, phase, and then the comma separated values file. So the last thing to do for this, now that you've done the moving average, is to save your file and export the plots. So same thing here, just export. You can just copy the clipboard is the easiest way to do this. And then copy the plots. And then just save this as a Word document and upload it to D2L. So if you've got the right looking plots, then that's all you need to upload to the D2L website. Just save it locally and then upload it to the proper Dropbox, and I'll give you full credit.